let's talk about MV1. Should you buy it? Is it for you? Now, the great features about this machine are as follows. Number one, it's portable. And by portable, I mean it doesn't have internal battery, but you can very easily hook it in to external power bank like this with a USB Type-B cable that I have it here. So that makes it cool in a way that you don't have to have a power socket to connect your device into, and you can take it with you wherever you go, right? So that is a very awesome feature of this machine. Now, if you think you will take it outdoors, then I will let you know later on during this video why you may want to think twice about it. But if you do want to use it in a place where it's not outdoors, it's indoors, but without a power socket, then yes, you can. You just need an external power bank and then you are ready to go. Now, another really good feature about it is its size. I think it's a very good size. You can definitely fit it into your backpack and just go somewhere with it. It's not too heavy as well, and it is really good size if you don't have much space on your desk. I think this device is for people who don't really have space to put a lot of equipment, but they do want to be able to produce the whole song on this device. And that brings us to another really good feature of this machine, which is you can produce the full song on it, and that is really exciting. So you don't really need any DAW to work on your song. You just need this device only. Let me just firstly talk about the song mode. So here you have the song mode button, and it allows you to organize sections which are made from sequences. So in a kind of a linear mode in here. So you basically, I've got a little song in here already, which if I go to sequences, so you can see I've got 3 different sequences and I've got 3 different song sections, okay? And these song sections are organized into a song. And I just put each section on each of these step sequencer, and then I've got my song already laid out in a very linear way. And you can mix it down and just send it to, or upload it to, I don't know, SoundCloud or wherever you want to upload it to. Okay, not many grooveboxes have that. I own the Machine Plus. It's a great groovebox, but it doesn't have this linear kind of way of organizing your song and then recording vocals on top of it. So I think this one really exceeds in this way. However, there are some cons, and we will talk about them later on during this video. Now, if you want to record your voice into this machine, then the vocal processor and the effects make it really useful for a vocalist or for rappers. Maybe if you want to do some rap on top of your music, then you've got the mic, which is a built-in mic. You can use the built-in mic, but I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, I think you could use it for doing some drums or something like that. But if you want to sing, I strongly recommend connecting your XLR mic into it. It does have phantom power as well, which is great, but it does not have phantom power if you connect it to a power bank. So it only provides phantom power to your microphone if you are using the power socket. So just bear that in mind. Now, these are the positives about this machine. Now, let's talk a little bit about what's not so great about it and what makes me think about maybe sending it back, to be honest. So let's start from number 1, which I already mentioned previously a little bit, and that is using it outdoors. So I bought this and I thought, wow, this is great. I can take it outdoors and produce the whole song just outdoors, without the need of a DAW or using a power socket, right? Now, the problem with this machine outdoors is that the LED lights and the lights on the buttons as well, they are not really visible outdoors. like at all. This device is basically, the buttons are basically white, so you can't see what is blinking. You can't see if you are recording or not. And it is pretty annoying. It's almost unuseful if you want to use it outdoors. And it's not only in the bright sunshine. I actually took it to the park when it was very cloudy, and it still didn't allow me to see properly the colors and the lights on the buttons. So I would say if you're thinking about buying this device because you want to use it outdoors, you want to maybe produce something in your garden, I don't think you will be able to, or it will be a little bit frustrating trying to do that. Another bad thing about it that I don't really like particularly is the pads, actually. So for me, I think they are pretty hard. And another thing that I'm not sure if it's just a problem of my machine, of my VerseLab, or is a general issue with this device, is that, you see, if I tap it with the same amount of force, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but the buttons are not always responsive. So if I tap it, right, with the same force, you see, it didn't light up. It didn't light up. I'm tapping it with the same force, and sometimes it lights up and sometimes it doesn't. So yes, you can definitely go into the menu and try to change the responsiveness of your buttons, but in general, they just not even in a way. Like, it's the responsiveness of the pads is not really what I would expect. I would expect the pads to work, every time I tap them. Now, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just this particular device. I don't know. But this is something that, you should keep in mind, especially if you think about doing maybe some performances with it. Another thing that is not so great about this device is that you see the screen, and I think everybody talks about the screen, and I thought that it's not going to be an issue for me, but it actually is a little bit. The screen is from the 90s. I mean, it's not nowhere near as good as anything on MPCs or machine. Even the MC707 or even the MC101 has a better screen than this one. Like, more, I don't know, it's more user-friendly. And why do I mean it? It's just because this thing is packed with sounds. It's got over 3,000 sounds and lots of effects as well. So you want to be able to access them to produce something awesome, right? But in order to access them, you have to do so much menu diving. It makes it less enjoyable. And I really don't like it. Roland, please give us some technology from 2021. This is what kills this machine. I think this is what makes me not want to keep it. The menu diving makes it less enjoyable to make music with it, for sure. Now, if you're a person who doesn't mind the deep dive into the menus and you have the whole day to to produce one beat, then you'll be fine. But for me, I think this is a big con. If you're coming from machine hardware or from MPC, you will not like this, okay? I don't think you will, at least. Now, another important thing to talk about is that this device is made for music production, and it does a pretty good job for what it is. However, if you want to perform live with it, then you probably don't want to do that with this machine. It is a pain to live perform with this thing. It's almost impossible, I would say. Yes, you could potentially do it, but it's not going to be fun. Because of the menu diving and because of the amount of knobs, which is just 3 basically, you're not going to have a good time trying to perform live with it. That's what I think, at least. And if you think about other machines like the MC101, which is a lot less expensive than this, plus it's a lot smaller and more portable because of the internal batteries on that little device, then if you compare these two, I mean, yes, you can record vocals on this and you can produce the whole song on this, which is great, but you can't live perform with it, and it is quite expensive for what it is, to be honest. So overall, what I think about this machine, I would say it's good, but it's definitely not for everybody. I would even say that it's not for most people. If you're a vocalist, if you never want to use a DAW and you don't mind all the cons that we spoke about earlier, then you may want to consider it. However, it's very difficult for me to recommend it to anyone other than a person with no computer or someone who does not want to spend money on DAW. And that would be the target customer for this machine. If you don't ever want to use a DAW, which, let's face it, there are things that you can do in a DAW that you can't do in here, or they are more difficult to do in here on this machine. So I'll say I will probably send it back. I don't think this is a machine for me. I just feel like the menu diving for me and the pads are a deal breaker. Now, it's important to mention there is an app that you can download and then connect your iPad to this machine and then use the controls on your iPad, so it's more visible. You don't have to you don't have to look into this little screen to find your effects or sounds, which is great. However, if you think about it, then I would say, why would you want to buy this if you already have an iPad? I mean, you can just buy like app to make music on your iPad, and then it's even more portable, right? So should you buy it? I don't know, you have to decide yourself. But if you do already have MPC or a Machine Plus or a Machine Micro even, or MC101, then I can't really recommend it unless you really want it. Unless you really want to have a vocal processor and just record the vocals on it. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure that some people will find it great, some people will find it useful. And it is a great piece of equipment for the right person. I don't think it's a great piece of equipment for me, and I don't think it would be a great piece of equipment for most people. But there are some people that will really love this thing. So please do let me know in the comments below if you're thinking of buying it, if this review was helpful, and what you think. If you don't agree with me, let me know. And yeah, thank you, and see you in the next video.